And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Friday morning, we've got IFR here, eastern Aleutians, to the Alaska Peninsula, and marginal VFR over the northern eastern Bering Sea. A little bit of marginal VFR here in the Kuskokwim Valley to the lower Yukon River there. Back out across Cape Neuenham, and pretty good VFR here over the southwest Bering Sea, western Aleutians. VFR interior Alaska, Arctic coast into the Gulf, Kodiak Island eastward there into the eastern North Gulf Coast, Panhandle IFR over toward the southeastern part of the southeast coast. And then for the afternoon, now some IFR shows up there for Lynn Canal, and moisture coming back in from the east and southeast, starting to increase the IFR along the eastern border there. Otherwise, the interior stays VFR. Some IFR up over the western Arctic coast. And now IFR shifting up into the northern Bering Sea. They're extending southeastward there to just south of Nunivak Island, and areas of marginal VFR and VFR for the Aleutians. And for Saturday morning, marginal VFR Kodiak Island, IFR band right across the northern Bering Sea, covering Nunivak Island, and marginal for the Pribilofs, eastern Aleutians, VFR, Atka Island, VFR, Adak, marginal, and that extends out west to Shimia. VFR here from northwest to southeast across interior Alaska into the Gulf. IFR up there along the border there from just south of Eagle all the way up to the eastern Arctic coast. IFR still over the Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay area with marginal VFR extending down to Dixon Entrance, but cutting off right around Yakutat. And for the afternoon, IFR into Yakutat now, or I'm sorry, marginal VFR into Yakutat, and the remainder of the southeast coast. IFR North Slope and Brooks Range extending down into the Yukon Flats, and a band of IFR here from Togiak Bay near Dillingham, right across the northern Bering Sea. The Aleutians east of Amchitka Island, all VFR into the Alaska Peninsula. Band of marginal VFR there across the Aleutian Range and Kodiak Island. And for passes, Friday, Anahtuvuk-Kanatagan, another VFR day for both those passes. And Lake Clark and Merrill, same forecast, VFR for rainy as well, and windy. Isabel, VFR. Mentasta, starting out VFR, but with moisture coming in from the east and southeast, possibly going marginal VFR as the afternoon wears on. Otherwise, Tanita staying VFR, and Portage, VFR, with Chilkoot and White, IFR. And for the freezing levels here, south of Kodiak Island, back up across Cold Bay to maybe just north of the Pribilof Islands. Otherwise, 2,000 to 4,000 feet across the southeast coast. And as far as icing goes, considerable moderate here. Pretty good chance of seeing that across the Panhandle tomorrow. Icing free over the interior from the Gulf of Alaska northward there to the Arctic coast. And maybe some considerable moderate rime icing St. Matthew Island. All of that staying south of St. Lawrence Island, with a band of lighter icing here extending down across the Alaska Peninsula. And with the jet stream, we've got south to southeast winds turning more southerly here over the northern Bering Sea, 65 to 70 knots. Main jet for the Aleutians, south of the area there. And we've got southerly winds here coming up across Yakutat up to 105 knots and just grazing the eastern border here. And for 9,000 feet, southeast winds 70 knots across the central and southern Panhandle. Much lighter here over interior Alaska with some high pressure. And out in the Bering Sea, a couple of low centers there. Westerlies, strongest westerlies just south of the Aleutians. But we've got southeast winds about 50 to 55 knots here on the north side of those low centers across the Bering. 3,000 feet, even stronger winds here, 45 to 60 knots there across the Alaska Peninsula, and up to 55 knots across the northern Bering Sea from the southeast. Otherwise, west winds at about 40 knots here for the Aleutians. Not too bad over the interior, and 70 knot winds down by the Queen Charlotte, with that extending up. Stronger winds extending up across Prince of Wales Island, the coast. Moderate turbulence expected for all of the southeast coast tomorrow, and big area of moderate turbulence here with the large low pressure area out over the Bering Sea. So pretty moderate there from St. Lawrence Island across the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta into most of Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula, and from about Adak westward to Shimian Attu.